Shalundia Bell. Tune in to get your prescription for Kingdom Living from the doctor. Join us now.
Hello, everyone. How are you doing today?
If your microphone or your interface doesn't show up on your list,
I am Dr. Shalundia Bell, and I am here today to give you some good information. I have a great guest that's going to come on this evening, and I am super excited because she has some very great information, because you all know, and some of you may not know, that this is Mental Health Awareness Month. Yes, Mental Health Awareness Month. And because it's Mental Health Awareness Month, I wanted to make sure that I ended the month strong with an awesome licensed therapy to give us some great tips on some things that you may be experiencing during these times that we've been in. Now, tonight's subject is about finding peace of mind in times of uncertainty. So she's going to break that thing down. I'm super excited, you all, to present our great guest this evening. Her name is Dr. Beatrice Tatum. How are you doing this evening?
I am doing well. All is well with my soul. How are you?
I am awesome. I'm glad that you took the time out of your schedule to come in and give us some great information, being that this is Mental Health Awareness Month. And I was like, what would be a great way to end the month with Dr. Tatum to come on here and give us some great mental health awareness tips? Because with everything going on today, and we're like at the back end of everything, and people getting their vaccines, and people are trying to get back to their norm, what would be some great things that we can talk about to help people get back on track today? And so we decided on the subject, finding peace of mind in times of uncertainty. So I'm going to jump right into it, because I know you have a busy schedule, and I don't want to waste our audience time either. So audience, as you come on, make sure you share and tag someone and like and love this broadcast, because I want to make sure everyone has the opportunity to hear the information that she's going to give to us this evening. I've been knowing Dr. Tatum for a while, and she's going to lay it down. I promise you, she's not going to leave you. Look, she's not going to leave you thirsty, okay? She's going to come in and she's going to lay it down for you all, because we want to make sure, like, a lot of times people don't have the opportunity to go to see a licensed therapy, and you might be going through things in your household or what have you. Well, we have the licensed therapy here in the house with us this evening. So whatever questions that you may want to ask her, she's here to help you all this evening. Well, Dr. Tatum, I'm not going to prolong the time. I'm just going to jump right into it. Now, when it comes to the mental health industry, what impact do you see that has happened in the mental health industry so far since we've been going through this last year and a half with this pandemic?
First, I want to say that I am honored to be here, and it's also my pleasure. It's true, May is Mental Health Awareness Month. I do want to say that I believe that every month, every day, every week
is mental health awareness.
And right. It's nice that time has been designated, to focus on it. This last year and a half has been a year that has been emotionally overwhelming and fatiguing for most people. Yes. I will say probably one of the best things that has come out of COVID and the pandemic. People are seeking counseling, and people are using it and utilizing it so much more. I will also say that many have said, and I agree with this statement, that the impact of COVID and the things that happened this past year and a half will
Yes.
outlive the pandemic.
Yes.
Will go beyond the pandemic. And so it's important for us to really keep in mind that our minds matter.
Yes. Yes.
And that we must take care of our minds. We must take care of our mental health every day, not just in May, but every day.
Wow. Well, I'm excited about that because, as we've been all going through this whole process with the pandemic, just going through this whole thing, being shocked, being overwhelmed, being frustrated, not being able to see your loved ones like we've been used to doing. Now things are trying to get a little bit normal with the vaccines. People are able to get out more. That's a great thing. I'm just excited. And I knew that when you and I talked, I was like, you know what? The people need to know what are some things that they can do in these times of uncertainty. Now, dealing with uncertainty in the media, I know a lot of times the news itself will break out a lot of anxiety, a lot of stress, a lot of depression, because I watch the news periodically, but I don't like to dwell on it a lot because it can become overwhelming. It can become frustrating. And next thing you know, you look like, oh, now you're depressed because something happened over there in Tijuana somewhere. And even right here in the backyard, and it's like, it's just so much that's be going on. So when it comes down to that, what are some things that you suggest?
There are a number of things. I will admit that I am a news person, and I'm one that will that wants to see what's going on in the world. However, there's a time that we all need to disconnect from it and connect to other things. The news reports what's happening, and sometimes what's happening we really don't want to always hear. And so this past year and a half, there was a lot of things going on in the news outside of even COVID that actually distress people. And some things, again, I tell people that self-care is a must.
Yes, self-care is definitely a must because a lot of times we don't take care of ourselves. We're so used to taking care of others and other things and situations, we kind of neglect ourselves. So yeah, I definitely agree with that. Self-care is definitely important.
Self-care, and self-care is not always going to get a massage. I'm not knocking that because I'm one that loves massages.
I need one right now. Right.
It's taking out time to be with self. It's taking out time to really sit with yourself, have a sense of peace. When I was growing up, my father would say to me, I'm at peace with myself, and therefore I'm at peace with the world. And I just thought it was another thing that my father would say. As I got older, I began to really, really understand what that meant. There's a lot of struggles that we experience in life. And this last year and a half reminded us that there was a lot of struggling, a lot of challenges. And the interesting thing about it, many of us were experiencing the same struggle, and the same challenge. And so it's just important to stay connected with yourself, stay connected with those around you.
Wow. And let me ask you this. Why do you feel like uncertainty is so hard to deal with?
Well, most of us like to think that we're in control.
Yes.
And uncertainty reminds us that we're not always in control. But in a very serious way, the brain likes to know what's going on, likes to know what's going to happen, likes to know what's down the road, likes to know what's in the future. Right. And when things are uncertain, you don't know what's going to happen. That ambiguity makes us feel out of control. And being out of control leads a lot of times to stress, depression, anxiety. And by the way, those are some of the main mental health issues that really surface. A lot of people ask me in my practice, what did I see a lot of this year? And I would tell them stress, depression, anxiety, not knowing what to expect,
Yes. And that's where the uncertainty kicks in there when you just don't know. You
Right.
know, it's like you don't know what to expect. You don't need, because you, again, like you said, you're no longer in control. You got the government in control of your life, you know,
Yeah.
at the moment. So it's like, what can I do? Like, okay, they got to tell me when to go eat. They had us on lockdown. We couldn't leave the house. It was just everything was in someone else's hands. So a lot of that, I can see how all of that would bring on a lot of stress, a lot of
Absolutely.
depression and anxiety.
Just think, this time last year, just like a year ago, we had no idea
Mm-mm.
what was even coming, and we knew that we didn't know, you know.
Right.
So and then even now, as things are opening back up, as we are beginning to talk about traveling and wanting to move around and do some things, people are still wondering, does the vaccine help you? You know, does it keep you from getting COVID? And the others are saying no, just you just won't get it as bad. And so
Right.
there's a lot of uncertainty. And so, if nothing else, as we were getting adjusted to the the new changes, or the changes that occurred last year, now we're having to make transitions again, you know,
Wow.
to what lies ahead. And so we are now certain about the uncertainty.
Wow. So as in your practice, have you been noticing that things are getting better? Are things leveling out more? Because that would be interesting to know, because as things are changing and we're going to different phases of the pandemic, as far as the mental health industry and that aspect of the whole process, is it leveling out more now, or has it gotten worse, or is it still the same?
I'm seeing a lot of emotional fatigue.
Okay.
People are exhausted
Okay.
from what happened over the past year. They're exhausted from some of the changes that occur, and there's feelings of overwhelmness. We also have to keep in mind that that people, I mean, jobs were lost. There's food insecurity. There's job instability. The economy. I mean, one day we're wondering whether there's enough gas. The next day,
Right, right. We just had that experience. Yeah.
yes. And then there's also some reality checks. There were several people have mentioned to me that some of the things that we're experiencing now, we experienced before COVID. Just that COVID enhanced it or made it worse in some ways. We live in a racialized society, for example. So some of the racial issues that occurred, or the racism that that came forth, those weren't new issues in a lot of ways. And
That's
so,
true. A
yeah,
lot of it has been going on, but because of the leadership, a lot of things has been exposed more. And
yeah,
so it kind of like brung a lot of things to surface. But
yeah,
like you said, a lot of those things, they have been going on for the longest, but now a lot of things has been exposed more. Like more people are awake, as they say. They're woken up. So now we tend to
yes.
see more of what has been there all the time. Wow. Now, as far as fear go, do you think like being afraid of not or what we don't know, that has a lot to do with the uncertainty? Because like you
Oh,
were saying before, like we just like a lot of people are afraid, and that brings on that fear, and of course that fear that brings on another level of anxiety. Because I believe all of those kind of like weigh in together. That fear with that anxiety, stress, depression, because
yeah,
we don't know, we still don't know, everything, because they say like we've gotten the vaccine, but then they say you may have a booster coming along. So it's like there's still some uncertainty there. We still
absolutely.
have not reached the magnitude that
Unknown.
we should be.
There's that fear, the fear of the unknown. And
Yeah.
and that's why I strive, and I'll say I'll be the first to admit that this year as a therapist has been challenging. This year as a for me has been challenging.
Right, right. Because I know you're way overworked.
Yeah, well, I think most therapists can say that their client load, their clinical load definitely increased this year.
Yes, yes, yes. Like you said, like you ain't got to worry about anything now. You're definitely gonna stay busy for a while.
Yes,
For a while, with everything going on, even before the pandemic, just life itself. But it's like I know it just pretty much just doubled and tripled after all this happened. And like you said, people lost their jobs. It's like it's just so much that your mind, your thinking can handle. You know, when you're not used to a certain thing, like you said, it's uncertain. Everything is a lot of things is so uncertain. So
And,
could you give us
I'm,
some tips on
I'm
some things that we can how we can handle it better?
sure. I want to say that I'm kind of excited that people are coming to counseling because, unfortunately, there's been a lot of things that have triggered their coming or prompted their coming. But then that's kind
Right.
of what therapy is all about. People tend to come when there's a crisis or something is not going right. But I'm glad that people are doing that. And so even though it keeps us quite busy, it's a cry, it's a response to a need. And so I'm happy they're doing that. Um,
Right.
yes. State your question again. I'm sorry. Oh,
As
sure.
far as the uncertainty, as far as the I know you had told us about practicing self-care. What are some other things that they can do? What people in general can do, like they may be still facing uncertainty. They should go to a licensed therapy at the moment. But what would be some things, some tips that you can give them to how to handle uncertainty?
Okay. And some of the tips I'm giving you to handle uncertainty are tips for handling stress, depression, just mental health in general.
It's
Okay.
all tied in there together.
That's right. One kind of affects the other, but eating properly, exercising, taking out time for self, recognizing and acknowledging that you're not always in control, drinking plenty of water. It sounds crazy, but I've been reminded by my doctors, make sure you stay hydrated. Sleep well. Sleep is so critical, and people have not been sleeping well.
Yeah, because they're
Connect.
worried. They have a lot of worry.
They have a lot of work.
Trying to figure it out like on their own. Like, what am I going to do next? How am I going to pay this? This is about to run out. Now, what am I going to do? Again, that uncertainty plays a big part in a lot of people's lives because they just don't know what's next.
And I'm going to say connect, connect, connect. Yes, we can do it a little easier now, and as social distancing is kind of getting closer and lessening in some ways, it is so. Human beings by nature, we thrive off of interaction,
Right,
and
right.
so we need to connect and to be connected. And Zoom is not always, it's great. Like in this case, I get to connect with people in all places, in all these different places. But now that we can move around, we need to take advantage of that and connect with people, family and friends. Also, when it comes to just having peace of mind, I tell people a lot of times we need to disassociate or distance ourselves from those people and those things and those in those instances that interrupt our peace. Peace of mind is freeing, and so it's important to sometimes say, hey, you know what? I need to cut the clutter, get rid of all this negative junk, and get my mood in check.
Wow. Okay, okay.
Exercise, you know.
Wow.
Take
And
on
this,
a new project. I was telling one of my clients today that I really, really, really want to conquer my fear of deep the deep end of the pool. And they said, "Can you swim, Dr. Tatum?" I said, enough to survive, okay? But I
right.
want to conquer that, and that's something that I think I want to do this year. In other words, take on new projects. You know,
Yeah, just find something to like some other things that can like keep you interested because
yes,
it's so easy, especially if you're at home. Like they brought the kids back into the school, so that's going to take some of the stress off the parents because the parents are like, you know what, I'm about to look these kids. They're running me ragged. So yeah,
yes.
so they put the kids back in school. A lot of people are returning to work. So a lot of things are changing. People are beginning to travel more because I see a lot going on. The airline tickets is going up.
Yes.
So look, the gas is going up. It's like it's so much is going back to the norm. Everything has it, but there are a lot of things they're trying to weed in to bring back the way it was. And it's gonna be a big change. It's gonna be a big change for
Gonna
everybody
be
because it's been a while.
And you know what? And sometimes we need to be honest with ourselves. Some of the things that some of the some of the way things were, we really don't need.
Right,
Some of
right.
the things the way they were, we say go back to the way things were. In some instances, we don't
You
need
don't
to
need
go
to go back.
and acknowledging that, and instead
Right. Be okay with it.
creating new things to do, and
Right,
looking at things through a different lens can be
right.
helpful.
Because we definitely had to become creative, I tell you that.
Yes.
When you're on lockdown and your city has put you on lockdown and you got into 8 o'clock to get everything you need. You need to be in the house.
Well,
So it's like
I'm
you
talking
become
about
very creative.
talking about being creative. After I leave this program this evening, I'm going to a masquerade party, a virtual masquerade party. It's a fundraiser for my sorority with my mom, and
Okay.
yeah, and so I'm like, I'm just interested to see how this is going to be, but it's
Yeah.
great, and you don't even have to leave home, you know. I mean,
Wow. That's
so,
amazing because like you said, it's like everybody had to readjust. Everybody had to pivot. Everything. The churches had to pivot. Businesses
oh
had to
yes,
pivot. It's
yes,
like, and I see like the churches are opening back up now. They have the space. They're still trying to do the 6 feet. Some are, some are not. And it's like,
yes.
everybody just trying to get back. Everybody trying those things that they're used to, and that we actually need. People are trying to bring it back in as soon as possible. And that's good because a lot of the stress and depression came because people just out of their norm.
Out of
It's
the
like
norm.
they were out of their norm and they wasn't used to it. They didn't know how to handle it.
And
You know,
not only were they out of the norm, and you've mentioned church a couple times, the ways that a lot of times we've coped, we've coped as a people, were shut down. I'm
right.
like on Sundays, I'm used to starting my week in church,
Okay.
and 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 for a while it was virtual, and
Right.
it was not quite the same. I mean, I was happy. It was something was better than nothing in a sense. Um,
Right.
and for
Right.
those that were shut in, it was great. I'm used to, when the minister says, offer each other the sign of peace. I'm used to getting hugs and people kind of asking me, how you doing, Beatrice? And then but now we weren't able to do that, and so we've had to learn how to cope outside of the ways we have coped in the past.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
So have your church opened back up yet? Have you been able to go back into the four walls?
We have opened back up.
Okay.
We've been open since Easter, but we still everyone has been vaccinated,
Okay.
and which is and it's, for some that still is a concern, and we all wear masks.
Wow. Okay. Okay. So you are still taking those safe measures,
Yeah,
even though, because again, like we said, we still don't know the whole facts around the vaccine. We don't know the truth behind it. Guess as we go on, we'll find out more even
yeah.
about that. So that's a good thing about that. But being safe and sorry, that's a
And I
good
tell
thing.
people, read, get the information. I have a cousin who's a pulmonologist in
Hmm.
Detroit, and she keeps me abreast of what's going on, and when it comes to vaccinations, well, when it comes to a lot of things, but definitely when it comes to COVID.
Okay. Wow. Wow. That's amazing. So as far as in your practice itself, um, do you feel like things are getting better like as time go on in your practice? Like, 'cause I know mental health is not going anywhere, and I know we had a big stigma in our in the arena of African Americans. We had a big stigma there. With everything going on with the pandemic, do you see that changing, or has it changed tremendously since the pandemic began with a lot of people of our culture to begin to seek therapy or
It
counseling?
it has changed so much that I'm having time. I mean, it's getting people in and responding to their calls isn't. I mean, it's a challenge, but
So
I'm
you have a
determined.
good challenge.
It's a good challenge, and like I said, I'm happy. I'm always happy that people believe in therapy, and they realize that therapy is not in competition with going to church. For those who find solace in prayer, I'm one of those people that I believe in the power of prayer. I'm one of those that that likes to meditate and reflect, and so it's not in competition. In fact, it can be integrated and all be a part of it. And so I have found that COVID has brought people to counseling even more.
Wow, that's good to know because I've seen the increase in help as far as with our people. I've seen that increase tremendously in other areas too, because a lot of times, we just had that stigma, like, you know what, everybody help themselves. That's just how Big Mama is. Y'all know she always been like that. We just deal with it, and so I'm glad to see that stigma is uplifted and people are beginning to get more help and more counseling like they need. That's a good thing.
But you know what? Big Mama will also, I know my Big Mama would tell me, baby, be still. And I thought when she would tell me, be still, it was oftentimes in church. And I thought it meant like behave. You need to sit down and behave yourself.
Right,
And,
right.
and as I look back and I reflect on some things, it was also take in the message, take in the word, and reflect. And that's what in therapy we call it, or in counseling we often call that mindfulness, being
Mm,
present, sitting with yourself and being present. And so,
wow,
in church it may be still. In the therapy world, it's mindfulness and be at peace.
wow, wow.
And I keep saying COVID, but this year, and I do want to emphasize, because I don't want to overlook the life circumstantial issues that occurred for so many of us. It was more
Right,
than COVID. We can.
right.
It was again, voter oppression, racism. I mean, the news reflected so many things: violence, gun violence.
Right.
An election that it seemed like it just was not going to end. Questionable leadership. Divisiveness that occurs in this country. And sometimes we want to act like people say this isn't what we do here.
Right.
Yes, we do in a lot of ways.
Right.
And so it was more than just COVID this last year and a half. It was COVID in addition to,
Other
so
things.
many things.
Wow. And that's good too, because if it took this whole situations to bring the light to open up to so many other things,
Yes.
because a lot of, even with the like you said, the news, and then also with getting the help, it's like before they wouldn't have been so quick, but so many things were being exposed as well, whereas with especially with the racism, we've been experiencing that, oh my God, forever. But now, because everything is so out in the open now, people tend to get more help because they realize the frustration and the illness that they've been holding for many years is beginning to surface now. So they realize, okay, I need to talk about this.
That's
This
right.
been there. This been there. I need it to come up now. So I
That's
need to really deal with this. So that's a good thing. And I'm excited and I'm glad that you're doing what you're doing, because we need people like you. We need many people like you to have the patience
Thank
and
you.
just to sit back and listen to everyone that come in and take that couch and be like, look, I need help, doc. So that's a good thing. I'm just so thankful for you. And you guys, if you all know anyone that may need to hear this information, share this out. Please share this out, like, tag, and share. If you know someone else that might need to hear this information, because a lot of times people are not connected to certain people, but you may be connected to them. Therefore, you can go ahead and share it out. You may want to tag them, or you may want to even hit the love. Show Dr. Tatum some love, that you appreciate her being here to share her heart with you all this evening, because she could be somewhere else. She's very busy, as you hear her say. Look, I'm busy, Dr. Bear. Look, I'm busy. She got a full schedule, but she took time out of her busy schedule to come here and sit with you all this evening and to go over this whole process, because she realized everybody may not come to her office. You know, there may be some things, some people that she can reach right here on Facebook, right here on YouTube, you know, right here across the social media platform in itself, and that you may want to reach out to her. So, Dr. Tatum, what is the name of your business again?
Wellness Initiatives, LLC. Taking the initiative towards your wellness.
Wellness Initiative is the name of her practice here in
Yes.
Monroe, Louisiana. So if you want to reach out to her, make sure you reach out to her at the Wellness Initiative. And you can let me put up her website. This is her website information. We are all important. That's enough in itself. I can shut the door. I can shut the door right there. Her website is weareallimportant.com. Now, that's a good one, Dr. Tatum. You did that. Weareallimportant.com. So if you want to find out any information about Dr. Tatum, you want to find out where she's located, you may want to set an appointment, you may want to sit down and have some me time with her, you can definitely do that and go ahead and set that up with her. So, Dr. Tatum, is there any final words you want to leave with everybody when it comes down to uncertainty?
Yes. First, I want to remind everybody that everybody's mind matters. Okay? And our mental health matters. Mental health is something that we need to attend to every day. And in this world of uncertainty, it is real important to know that it is not unattainable to have a peace of mind. Having a peace of mind means just having being free of fear, being free of stress. It is having a balance and a calm state, a calm mental state, and we all can achieve it.
Wow, that's good. So having a balance, and I know a lot of time with everything is going on, having that work-life balance. I deal with clients all the time dealing with that work-life balance. No, we work, and life just passes you by, or you just so lackadaisical and you just living your best life. And you ain't doing no work.
Right. And you know what? Didn't this last year show us how quick, how fast life can go?
Yes.
And how precious and important it is.
Yes. Time is something they say you can do a lot of things, but time is something that we can never get back.
Yes. And to see
time is something
moment.
You are welcome, Ms. Saunders. Time is something that we can never get back. So we definitely have to make use of that time, because you never know. Some of us are here today, but we may not be here tomorrow. So we have to make use of every time, every second, every minute, every hour of the day. We have to make use of that time. Okay, you guys, do anybody have any questions for Dr. Tatum? And I want to thank each and every one of you all for tuning in, as far as the listeners, you guys, because you all could be doing something else. This Friday night. You know how we do on Friday night. Just got paid. Hey, it's on and popping. But you know what? You decided
end of the month, Memorial Day weekend.
Yes, it's a weekend, baby. And this is Memorial Day weekend. So some of you may be traveling. You may want to go spend time with your family, going here and there to and fro. We pray peace and grace on you and safe travels as well for those that are traveling to and far, because it's so much going on out here in these streets. You just never know what we may run into. So again, I would like to thank the listeners for taking time out of your schedules for tuning in here with us this evening. Our subject this evening was finding a peace of mind in times of uncertainty, because a lot of times there are a lot of uncertainty that we have to deal with. So I'm glad Dr. Tatum was okay with taking time out of her busy schedule.
My pleasure.
Like, I appreciate you. This is my Sarah in the house. It's my Sarah in here that took time out of her busy schedule to come in and share some great information, guys. So if you have any questions, you can definitely put it in the comments. If you don't, make sure you like, tag, and share. You may want to share this out with a loved one, or friend, or family member that you may believe that this was some good information, and they might just want a peace of mind to understand that they're not alone. Uncertainty is definitely not new, and it's definitely not something that you may be the only one that may be experiencing it, because you're not the only one. It's definitely something that goes on all the time, even before the pandemic hit. Uncertainty has always been around. So I'm just glad that Dr. Tatum wanted to address it this evening to let you know what's next. What are we going to do now? Everything is kind of switching, trying to change back over. What are you going to do now? Even with that uncertainty, you know, what are you going to do? So I'm excited and I'm glad that she took time out of her schedule. I'm also thankful that you guys took time out of your schedules this evening to tune in here to another episode of Kingdom Talk. And I also want to share with you all that we are here every Friday. So you can tune in right here on social media, on Facebook, as well as YouTube at 7 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. You never know what prescription for Kingdom Living we're going to have next. Every Friday, I have a different guest, and we try to make it relatable and make sure that it's kingdom oriented, because a lot of things, people get things confused with kingdom, but it covers a lot of things. It's just not about the church. And so we want to make sure that we covering a lot of things here on Kingdom Talk so you can get your prescription for Kingdom Living. So again, see you all here next Friday at 7 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time to see who our next guest is going to be. You do not want to miss it. And again, thank you all. Thank you guys for tuning in. And we are about to close the broadcast out. Dr. Tatum, if that's all with you, that's it. All righty. So that's it, you guys. We appreciate everything that you all are doing, and be blessed until next time.